Is the hard drive plugged in?
Yep. Hi, friends.
Hi.
Arco, Vidor, Thrish, Young,
Good morning, Idara. Hello.
Idara. How's it going?
Welcome in.
How is our Wednesday?
Is it fabulous?
I know it feels very Wednesday-y, if that makes sense.
It does feel like a Wednesday.
Yeah. What's really
Which I suppose
interesting,
is a good thing.
yeah, is that it's usually called June gloom in Los Angeles and in Southern California because it's just like really gloomy outside. But I really don't feel like that's been the case this year.
No, I haven't noticed it. I feel like if it was anything, it was maybe the beginning of May.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been, which is interesting.
Yeah, last year it was really prevalent, but you know, as it goes. Hello, Thrish. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Cinema Collective. Hi, I'm Ashleigh. This is Courtney.
Hello.
And we are CA in LA. We are best friends, filmmakers, musicians.
A lot of musicianship and variety streamers.
That's right. A lot of musicianship.
There's been a lot of musicianship as of late.
That's
Not in the bad way,
right.
in the best way.
In the best ways. That is absolutely correct.
But how's everybody's week been going?
We get to formally announce our new song that's coming out next Friday. And I can't believe we're already here.
Yes, that also means it is a little after the middle of June, which is like, just as a timeline in general.
I know.
All the musicianship, yeah.
All the musicianship. That's right.
But again, in the best way. But yeah, it's wild that we are this far into the June.
Into the June.
Good.
That's right. If you are just joining us, please make sure that you jump in chat and say hi. We would love to say hi back.
That's right.
We're going to go ahead and jump into our slides so that Courtney can have some time because we love having time for Courtney. Okay.
I love having time for you guys too.
Hi, JC.
Hi, JC.
Happy Wednesday. Happy 1 week of your book and
Yay!
1 week of your birthday.
So exciting.
Last week, we went over some film news and Courtney went over part 2 of text in Premiere. And our week 2 challenge was to try a new workflow. What did you do?
What we did, we don't have pictures of this because it's just been manic, but working with a team to release our song, it's been a crazy workflow being on specific deadlines, not just deadlines of the music and all of the assets that we need to release, but all of the social media strategy that we now are on a very strict schedule for. So if Ashleigh and I are out in the wild, we have to take pictures, which we don't really ever do. Like we just don't really take pictures of ourselves. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we had to start being better about documenting the process of what it is to create music and to be streamers and all of these other things that we're doing, which has been a struggle because we're so busy that we're so in the moment, that the workflow has definitely been, okay, sit back and document it a little bit more, even if it's unpleasant, and it's very unpleasant for Ashleigh and I, but then we have to get those assets edited, then do a string out, and then have things uploaded and labeled, and then we finished the artwork for the vinyl yesterday. So it's been a lot of new workflows. And every time you do any sort of distribution for digital art, everyone's template's different. Everyone's color space is different. Whew. So this week was full of a lot of them for us.
Last week we did a photo
Trish.
shoot with the lovely and amazing Bill Nash, and then we had band practice, and we had an event on Friday night and an event on Saturday or Sunday. And I wouldn't say that it's like unsavory or uncomfortable. It's just a different workflow of us taking photos. I think when we go out, we're getting used to just a different way of being. And yeah, a lot of it's been being taught to dull the sunshine and not be center of attention and don't be an influencer. But it is really, really important in this day and age, as we all are trying to get our art out there, that we are properly strategizing on marketing and not just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thrish, really appreciate that. I almost called you William, and that just felt wrong, but that's the name I'm seeing. And so I don't know.
It's okay.
Don't love it.
I'm I'm going to switch my chat over to live chat, just in case.
We want to see Chris.
Yeah, in case Chris says hello. But also in that workflow, it's just been being better about organizing and making sure that when we are getting home from an event, that we're properly cataloging all of the assets that we get and making sure that everything is as organized as possible without being over organized. That way we're not having to go back and do 2 or 3 times the workload in the future. So high key recommend that if you are, we can't waste spaghetti like that in this economy. But you have to make sure that you are properly cataloging and archiving all of your work so that in the future, you're not relying on having to go and download it from somewhere or having, I know he must be busy DJing somewhere. I agree with that, Arco. But you have to make sure that you're properly archiving your work. That way you can go back to it in the future, especially as all of these companies are reorganizing and getting acquired. And you just don't know if you'll be able to access your work if you have it stored digitally. So that was a huge learning curve for us.
And the workflows are real because you deal with your past self where everything was unorganized or maybe not in the proper place that you prefer to be. So going back and cleaning that is also...
That's right. So to get us started today, what is the best movie or series of 2026 for you?
Rooster.
See, I was going to put that on our list, but I had to make a game time decision.
Yeah.
And I really hope that you're okay with
I think
what
I'm going
decided.
to agree.
Would love to hear your thoughts.
If it's not that, can I guess?
Sure.
Is it The Audacity?
Okay. There's 3 of them on here.
Oh, okay.
The Audacity. What else you got?
Wait, are these movies or series? We don't really watch
They're movies, series that came out in 2026.
No, I know.
We've seen.
What could the third one be?
Windows. I keep calling it Windows Bay. Widow's
Bay. For Gaussian blur, I kept typing blue, so, it's all right.
We know what we're talking about.
I'm in love with it. That's the horror one, right?
Yeah, the horror comedy that's on Apple TV.
Yeah. We keep getting told about it, and it's the horror bit that I just don't know.
Yeah, because I heard it's gruesome when it's gruesome, and I just...
I don't know that I want to do that.
Widow's Bay as well, Young says.
Wow, really?
So that's 2 for Widow's Bay. Love that. Okay, so
yes.
I said Ladies First as a film, The Audacity as a series, and Hachan Shake Your Booty.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to buy that movie.
The horror is Pretty Light. See,
okay.
Thrish, I heard that it's really intense when it's really intense.
So Thrish, is the horror level for you the way that your spice level is? Because you like really spicy things, but for you it's mild, so...
Like, I am 100% certain that we got your soup that one day.
Yeah, I'm 100% as well.
Yeah.
And you would have probably found it to be a tickle. But, you think we'd enjoy it? Okay.
Yeah, we keep getting told about it. So definitely need to just sit down and do it. But we don't have Apple. We rotate.
We do. We get the streaming platform just to watch a show and then move on.
That's right. We're out. And then she's out. But yeah, Hachan Shake Your Booty, it premiered at Sundance and was bought by Sony pretty immediately. And it is slated for a fall release, which means that they are planning on entering it for awards season. Which is exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, man, Hachan Shake Your Booty. They said that it was going to be coming out soon. And then I'm like, we are almost in July. When is it coming out this year?
Very exciting.
But that kind of happens with films that are at Sundance and South by, is either they're acquired and then they're in theatrical pretty immediately, which means that was already planned, or they're bought and they're premiering at full time, which is in line for award season, or the following year. Just really depends on distribution deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't really watch super scary stuff, and I'm totally good with this. The comedy really shines through for me. Ooh, okay.
Okay. Thank you for the recommendation.
I'm gonna write it down.
It's a perfect balance, in my opinion.
That's so fascinating. Horror and comedy in perfect balance. Wow. Okay.
Okay. I do feel like horror is of the zeitgeist right now, and it's going to be really interesting because
Maryland is seething.
The typical what's popular right now is not what's popular in 18 to 24 months, but anything that's horror that was already in development, that's already been created, I think it's the perfect time. But in about a year and a half, 2 years, I think everyone's going to be kind of over it. So we'll see. Stuff you should watch this week that's new on streamers. I Will Find You, really quick, cryptic. Sam Worthington is in this, and it's 8 episodes. All episodes are available tomorrow on Netflix. And it's about a father in prison for his son's murder and receives evidence suggesting his child may be alive, compelling him to escape and uncover the truth.
It's the
I love
second
it.
poster I've seen where there's a shape and then they're composited in it.
I know.
I thought it was the same thing for a sec. It isn't. Idara, have you seen Widow's Bay?
I'm glad the
And do you
horror
like it?
is light because I struggle with horror. I think, Widow's Bay.
Oh, no. I was asking if she's seen it.
Copy you. I think that she's talking about Widow's Bay, but I could be wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Courtney's like, yes, you're wrong.
No.
So,
I'm saying yes. That's also what I'm talking about.
No, totally.
Yeah.
We're saying the same
We're
thing.
saying the same thing. This happens a lot.
So I Will Find You. If you're a fan of shows like Presumed Innocent and Your Honor, feel like you will enjoy this series that is completely bingeable as of tomorrow.
Presumed Innocent is Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
That's right.
That one was great.
So Sugar is on season 2, starring Colin. Oh, Colin. This is a
Just a
neo-noir
first name,
mystery / drama. And this will be released episodically every week, every Friday on Apple TV, starting on Friday. And this is about an iconic private investigator, John Sugar, returns to Los Angeles to take on a new missing persons case, tracking the troubled older brother of an up-and-coming local boxer. So this is for fans of shows like Devs and Chinatown. Very specialized neo-noir.
I'm loving all the combinations of genres.
Yeah, very interesting. But
Yes,
everything,
just Colin.
Just Colin. Everything feels very thriller, mystery, horror. So this is The Agency. I had no idea about this show, but like, look at the actors that are in this. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But this is called The Agency. Hi, Umo.
Umo.
Good morning. Good evening.
Welcome.
This is The Agency. It's in season 2. It is a crime thriller and mystery that is about a covert CIA agent ordered to abandon his undercover life and return to London station. When the love he left behind reappears, romance reignites. So definitely taking a shift away from the CIA life to be more rom-com, except it's a crime thriller mystery. This is 10 episodes and all will be available on Sunday, June 21st on Paramount Plus. This is for fans of espionage, crime thrillers, for fans of shows like Homeland and The Americans. Next, it's really funny that this was on no up-and-coming show lists of this week. And I was like, I think that this is kind of a big deal. Season 3 of House of Dragon, but maybe not. I don't feel like you need to know shows that are similar to this. It's how
It kind of, yeah.
Game of Thrones. It's the prequel to this, and it debuts June 21st on HBO Max. And season 3, I'm surprised we're already at season 3. I feel like it just started, but there you go. Season 3. Oh, The Agency looks like something I would really enjoy.
You know, JC, it does. It does look like something you enjoy.
Yeah, it looks really fun. And Michael Fassbender, question mark? It has houses. It has dragons.
That's right.
It has swords. It has battles. Basically writes itself. Umo says, oh, Arco, I dropped the other chat, but not seeing. Yep.
Yeah,
Must have escalated.
But hi, Chris, if you're here.
I have no idea if it's wrapping up House of Dragon or just going for seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make up for the Game of Thrones ending. We really don't know.
We don't know. We're just
Arco, me either.
along for the ride. I never forgave them for the last season of Game of Thrones.
No.
Arco, does that mean that you are not giving House of Dragon a chance? Because I have heard some people say, you betrayed me. And then other people say, no, it's different. So
It just took me so long to get into Game of Thrones that I don't feel the need to continue that.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Respect. FIFA has the World Cup ongoing right now. I know Umo's been enjoying some of the matches. This is the 23rd edition featuring 48 teams across 3 host countries of US, Canada, and Mexico, with major matches streamed live on Fox, and all 104 matches, it's definitely less than that now, streamed on Fox One, which is their streaming platform, because everyone has a streaming platform.
That's right.
In theaters this week, we have Toy Story 5 coming in at an hour 42. This is an action animation directed by Andrew Stanton, who does all of the Pixar things. And it is about Buzz, Woody, Jessie, and the rest of the gang's jobs get exponentially harder when they go head to head with a new threat to playtime. I think it's going to be that green tablet, yeah?
Yeah, oh, never mind. At first, I was like, is he the one that wasn't talking at first? But that doesn't make any sense.
I do know that there was huge controversy because a major character was not speaking, but not sure who that major character was. Ilmo says there is so much football. And JC says, I had no issues with the last season of Game of Thrones. In fact, I think I might rewatch the series, the whole series. That is awesome. It's really cool to have series to rewatch, especially knowing what you're watching and getting to make new discoveries and have new realizations about different aspects.
Agree. I know it's a different showrunner, but since A, the author refuses to finish the books from the original show, and B, them doing what they did with the original series, I've had a hard time justifying watching it. That's completely fair.
Totally.
Yeah.
Respect.
I don't understand how we got to 5 Toy Stories. I stopped watching after the second one. Yeah, Despicable Me or the Minion movies are right behind that for me.
Yeah.
I just don't feel the need.
There is another Minions movie coming out soon. I just don't have a recall on when it is.
I just can't help it.
Toy Story 5 with a Taylor Swift song. Death of Robin Hood. Hugh Jackman is booked and busy. I swear every month he is in something new. And this month it is the Death of Robin Hood. This film clocks in at 2 hours and 2 minutes long.
Wow.
Grappling with his violent past, Robin Hood finds himself gravely injured after a battle that he thought would be his last. He soon gets a chance at salvation when he meets a mysterious woman and a young girl. This is written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, who is known for Pig, If, and A Quiet Place Day One.
So we can imagine this is going to be pretty dark.
It does look really dark, and Jodie Comer is in this.
Oh God, she's so good.
Kind of light on the eyebrows with this character, though.
He does have a big range. I know.
Yeah.
We should bring back Hugh.
Yeah, he last was in theaters for The Sheep Detectives.
Yep.
What a wild premise. We watched the trailer for that, and I was really blown away.
I want to see this. Yeah. Arco said, I also refuse to watch 3 Body Problem because it's the same showrunner until I hear they finished the series and it was decent. I don't see a point in putting time into it despite really looking at the books. So, okay.
Liking the books.
Or liking the books. I see. When we were talking last week about if a director is going to determine you watching something or not watching something, for you, it's the showrunner. They have to burn you pretty bad, obviously. But in this case, the showrunners will make you just not watch a show.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and good for you for looking at the showrunners, because it does matter, in my opinion, and in your opinion. Leviticus, this is a fantasy horror about 2 teens trying to escape from a violent entity that takes the form of the person they desire most. You got it, Arco. This is directed by Adrian Chirelia and he's known for Black Lips and Dwarf Planet, neither of which I'm familiar with, but if you are a fantasy horror fan, you may be familiar. This comes in at an hour and 27 minutes. What's up, Wade?
Hi.
Showrunners betrayed me.
Yeah, I don't
hold it against them.
I don't blame you at all. And Wade, how's your day going?
So Netflix just announced that they're canceling 11 shows. Some of these did not come as a surprise to most people, but then other series have kind of been in limbo. And then also The Lincoln Lawyer, we just covered that because I remember being like, Okay.
Lincoln Logs.
This is about Lincoln Logs, right? Is that he builds his little lawyer stand out of Lincoln Logs? That's not the case. It's that he operates his law firm out of his Lincoln. So The Abandons, Terminator Zero, The Vince Staples Show, Pop the Balloon, Sell the City with Love Megan, Class, Miss Governor, F1 The Academy. I was surprised about that one. The Lincoln Lawyer, and What's in the Box. All of them gone. I know. They're all gone.
I have no idea what Pop the Balloon is. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. I think. I'm so certain in the not. It's the one where, like, it's a silly dating show where a bunch of people will be holding a balloon and then someone will come out and they'll get asked questions and then they pop their balloon if they don't like them or see them as a potential suitor. Yeah.
I know. Missed opportunities here. Lincoln Logs. Seriously. Pop the Balloon is the dating show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've probably seen clips from it around. I didn't know that it was on Netflix though, and that was something that they did. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of viral videos about that, Umo. I also didn't know that there was a show. I didn't know half of these were actually a show. What's in the
I assumed
Box?
it was just a person on YouTube.
Fair. What's in the Box was Neil Patrick Harris hosting. Aren't all dating shows silly? But I guess there's a range. Wade,
Yeah.
dating shows are really in the meta right now, especially with Love Island. There was a Olipop and Love Island collab that I saw when I was at the grocery store the other day. So strange, but perfectly in line with their demo. So I know someone who's going to be devastated about the Lincoln Lawyer. I know, it is really wild. They canceled that. The original Pop the Balloon is still on YouTube. The Netflix version is canceled. I'm sure that people will continue doing
Yes.
Pop the Balloon because it's just really simple. I love Love Island, my guilty pleasure. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Have you watched them all, or do you have, like, wherever it's set, do you have a favorite season?
Yeah, I know my friends that love Love Island, they do not like the US version, and so they're not very excited about the upcoming one, but they're going to watch it. I know they will. So Insta360 this week introduced the Luna Ultra, which has a dual 8K lens, a gimbal. They collaborated with Leica to do their glass, which that's a really, really big deal.
Yeah, what?
And this combines professional imaging, a 3-axis stabilization, and also features a secondary telephoto lens system with a 1.3 sensor and a 2 f-stop. So basically it's really good in low light. And it also features a 12 times zoom, but the only lossless version of that is at 6 times. So that basically means that you can super zoom into 12, but it's not going to look great. It'll only look great with 6 times zoom.
And you probably won't be able to bring these into sports ball games. So keep that in mind.
So then for those of you that have seen the DJI Osmo, you might be like, this kind of looks familiar. And so did DJI. DJI was like, hey fam, we have a patent on this. And so hit them with a lawsuit for that patented copy. So you can decide if they stole the design, but it honestly,
I think,
doesn't look good.
I think they did.
For Insta360.
A little bit.
But the issue right now with DJI's Osmo is that DJI is facing a huge regulatory problem in the US with drones. And so Insta360 is trying to come in and fill the void of a lot of creators that are looking for the next iteration of the DJI Osmo. So we'll see what happens. This is the second lawsuit that DJI has filed against Insta360. The first was against a drone copy.
Did they win? Do we know?
I don't know.
I'll have to look. I love the UK version. I just started watching US in recent seasons, but prefer UK.
What is it about UK that you prefer, if you don't mind answering that? Because I have heard similar. So I don't know if you all heard, but it was announced yesterday, Monday, that Fox is buying Roku for an agreed $22 billion. $22 billion. So this is reflecting Fox's bet on free streaming platforms, which I didn't know they own Tubi, but they do. So now they will own Tubi, Roku, and all of their cable conglomerates. Direct quote from Piper Sandler analyst Thomas Champion. We view this as a strategic fit. Fox marries its strong content with Roku's leading distribution platform and first-party data that add scale and can enhance the value proposition with advertisers. Yep. JC, so Fox has
First-party
owned...
data. Love that.
That's right.
Love.
That's right. A lot of people have been asking how this deal actually will benefit Fox, but it's right there. It is all about the first-party data. So just be on the lookout, especially if you own a Roku television. It is really difficult out there in the television market because most TVs are Roku. The current workaround that I've seen is people, I know, people are saying to get Apple TV and log in through all of your apps there because it is the least predatory of the situations right now. So yeah, lots of learning on this that Fox also owns Tubi.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it just flows better. Hey, that's fair.
Yeah, I also think it's probably the less drama and that the production crew is really familiar with the workflow as well as the contestants, where, in my opinion, Love Island US is just trying to copy the formula without actually being the formula. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Lionsgate and Runway are collaborating for this fun thing where Lionsgate has given Runway permission to train all of their library in Runway. And so Runway will feed the whole Lionsgate library into their AI for training, which will allow Runway to legally create content for Lionsgate. And some samples given are commercials, shorts, clips, full films, and inserts. Popular IP from Lionsgate includes The Hunger Games, John Wick, and Saw.
Umo, advertising data still fails to take into account the negative aspect for some people like me. They actively reduce my consumption with them by targeting me with some adverts.
That's right.
Yeah. And JC, I own a Roku stick and use all my streaming apps through that Roku stick.
Totally. Just a heads up, though, on what is going to happen.
Yeah. Wade, yeah. I know. I am too. That's why I keep laughing.
Because what can you do?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that the majority of people that I've spoken to are totally just over AI. We don't want it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to use it. Like the generative stuff. And then especially in the film industry, they just don't want it. And they still insist on it.
That's right.
For everybody. It's, oh my God.
You have to laugh, otherwise you're going to cry. Arco says, I'm looking forward to the AI John Wick Hunger Games crossover. Going to be something. Oh, so Premiere just announced some updates. Global audio mute lets you silence audio across the entire app in one click. Marker search lets you pull up any marker by color or name across every open project. And channel blur, gradient, noise effects, you can handle precise compositions and add organic animated texture inside of your timeline without shipping it back to After Effects. 3D spin back and slide transitions give you dynamic motion with professional grade easing controls built into the edit workflow. Single word captioning, this one's huge, puts you in control at the word level without disturbing the broader caption block. This single word captioning is specifically being added for people that are creating captions in vertical clips. The new stock panel checkout lets you preview and license Adobe stock assets without leaving Premiere. So literally you can load it in. You can send multiple assets through projects in Firefly boards and it'll create a sequence for you. That's really cool. Also, Object Mask is now faster, more refined, and you get a softer, more natural mask. And if media goes offline and gets relinked, you can regenerate the mask without starting over. That's also big.
We love that.
And the sequence indexed panel will give you long form edit control all in one place with AV display mode showing video and audio waveforms together in the source monitor. So you'll be able to navigate complex timelines easier and faster.
And I will be going in depth over all of that next week.
Also, some After Effects updates because yay. Object Matte reimagines rotoscoping with 4 AI-powered tools: object selection, quick selection, selection brush, and refine edge, replacing the brush-only roto brush with the same AI precision that is already available and been loved on in Premiere. So bringing that asset over from Premiere over to After Effects. 3D and After Effects is getting an upgrade, bringing your motion design work closer to 3D production. So you can now add real surface depth with displacement maps and apply depth of field across models, meshes, text, and shape layers, and use scripting APIs for parametric meshes for more control over complex scenes. I'm pretty sure that this is to help with anybody that is building VR elements and VR scapes.
I can see that.
And you can now import SVG files directly into After Effects as editable shape layers, so that gradient, strokes, transparency are all intact.
We love
So you can
that.
bring vector content across into After Effects without any conversions or workflow complications, making it easier to work across the Adobe sphere.
Cool. That is a big bunch of improvements, Umo. Yeah.
My final note here is, as you all may know, Paramount Skydance is acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery in a $111 billion merger. And on Thursday, April 23rd, that feels so long ago, the shareholders over at Warner Brothers, despite so many warnings, voted to approve the acquisition. So this is supposed to be scheduled to be completed by September 30th, but there are a lot of directives in place to push this through within a month on July 15th. That is subject to regulatory approvals, which are happening so much faster than you could imagine, or can you? On Friday, June 12th, after a supposed 8-month review, surprise, the DOJ Antitrust Division determined that there's no threat to consumer or market competition and cleared the deal. Yay! Yay. So immediately upon that, California AG Rob Bonta said in a tweet, "The merger of Warner Brothers and Paramount is not a done deal and remains under investigation by my office."
Yes.
So
Let's go.
In the U.S., regulators in California and New York are preparing lawsuits to try to block this deal. Although Paramount has filed a motion to dismiss consumer antitrust lawsuits and has privately submitted concessions to state authorities in both California and New York.
I bet.
Thrish said SVG Direct will have lots of cool effects
Umo.
for people. I'm sorry, Umo. SVG Direct will have lots of cool effects for people like Coat making trailers of album covers.
Yes, if that SVG worked in Premiere, 100%, but it does not.
That's right.
At least that I know of. But I was actually going to talk about what that is like using gradients and all the things. So we'll get there. That's an excellent point, though.
So potential hurdles are still that the UK is the Competition and Markets Authority started a formal phase 1 review with an August 7th deadline before escalating to a phase 2. If you know, that is after July 15th. EU is also examining a $24 billion Middle Eastern funding backing of the deal with a July 7th deadline. And in the US, the FCC still needs to conduct their investigation into foreign ownership stakes. All right. Fun, right? Okay.
Super fun.
So now, after all of that lovely news, Courtney is going to show you how she built one of our album visualizers.
That's right, because we got to make another one.
What is an album visualizer, Court?
So this one specifically is a few seconds of moving image that is going to demonstrate your song, or if you go to Spotify, anything like that, you'll see a few seconds of video that play. I'm going to be doing this for our song Clarity that is going to be coming out June 26th, which is very, very soon. Whoa. Very, very soon. And what I did with our album before is I decided I was going to make the visualizers some animation of the art that Ashleigh and I had already spent laborious hours making. We hand drew everything. So I wanted to, and I'll show you you're good.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so and we turned it into a zine, and I figured a way in which we could make those animations work. I actually made the original animations for our album release show, but only one of them got played through our entire set, which is okay. I put all the work into it that we decided to repurpose them and use them for visualizers. So I'm going to show you how I made and how I am going to make the one for Clarity. So we're going to build it in real time.
Rajo, hello.
Welcome in. I know, so soon. So this is the art right here for Clarity. And before I start, I try to, at least for this one, try to have an idea of what it is that I want to do as far as the animation goes, because for this one, actually, I'll show you what I've done before and then why I've landed here. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to show you the this mute button, which you can't even hear. Oh, there's no song under there. All these songs are gone. Hold on. You're going to hear a little bit of Clarity, but don't worry. I'm going to mute it. But the mute button that Ashleigh was talking about is down here, which they've just added. Oh, y'all, I cannot tell you how excited I am to see that.
I am so excited to see that. I know you think it's just as simple as just like hitting the mute button on your computer, but you have to understand how big of a deal having that mute button is in Premiere.
Thank you, Thrish. It is a huge deal. I need to work on that other one, but that is another day. So as far as some of the animations that I've done, let's see. Yeah, things like this. And as you can see for this example, the figure is still underneath. So if we look right here, we can still see the feet even as it rotates. In my dream world, I would have had that figure separate from the background. That way I could animate it separately. But these drawings are just a little too complicated to be able to do that. But had I had the foresight, I think it would have been a little bit different. But since I had an idea with this guy, I was able to draw it accordingly. So if you have access to the art, I highly recommend making your separate layers. But let's look at our project settings, because this really, really matters when it comes to using any sort of blur or color settings in general, especially if you want the visualizer to match your artwork. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into my project settings and go to color. And I have this selected for web, but you can do web or you can do QuickTime. But since I know that it is going on social media, I'm going to choose to do web. And then I want to make sure that the color manage at this point doesn't really matter because it's an image and not a video, but I always have it checked on just in case. And then enable color space aware effects I always have turned on. But pretty much your viewer gamma is going to be the most important so that your colors do match on the back end. So now that my project settings match, I'm also going to go into my sequence settings, which is videos, copy one. Where are my sequence settings? I'll find that later. But you want to make sure that your sequence settings are the same as well. I don't know why in vertical it's not giving me that option to do that. That's weird.
Just go to Premiere.
Huh?
Go to Premiere.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then go to, no, it wouldn't be under settings.
No. Anyway, you want to make sure that your sequence settings are also matching that. And then before you go in and do any animating as well, I highly recommend that you just check your video to make sure that your export settings, rendering at maximum depth and maximum render quality is turned on, just so that once you've gone and done all of the work, that everything matches on the back end. And finally, before we get started, I want to go into my monitor settings. So I'm going to click the wrench down here and make sure high quality playback is turned on. So what I'm seeing and what I'm editing is what is going to get exported. If you're working in film, you probably don't have to worry about that as much. You can have your playback resolution be a little bit lower, but again, because we're doing this specifically for color and for the animation in Premiere, we want to make sure that they match. Okay, so this is what I'm going to try to do, and I have my separate layers here, so I'll show you exactly what they are. I've got my outer shell, which is going to be this purple bit, and I'll just mute them, so maybe I'll turn them on one at a time so you can see.
So you mentioned earlier that because you knew what you were doing for this one, you did things differently. So can you talk on that?
Yes. I knew that what I wanted to do for this is kind of have a pulse underneath. So kind of like the orb is glowing from the inside out and it flickers a little bit. So knowing that I wanted that, that means I had to separate the outer shell, so that purple outside, and then this layer in here, which did take some work in Photoshop to get everything and take all the effects off, to make sure that they're flat, which I'll explain why in a second as well. But I tried to keep the layers as separate as possible while combining the ones that I knew needed to be together, just so I don't have 10 layers going up. You can combine some, but that is also where clipping masks get complicated if something's clipped to another layer and then you got to go in and erase it. So it did take some prep work. So our next one is going to be, this is just the glow, and this is what I want the flicker to sit on top of. So I actually added 2 of them because I don't want the flicker to just be right underneath this final layer. I think having the color on top of it will mute it a little bit better. And so my plan is that with this, I'm going to drop the opacity of this layer to have it shine through, but still keep it contained within these colors a little bit better. So first I have to add this shape back here, which is the Gaussian blur. What I learned last time, and Uma, what you were saying about SVGs, I find that working with any sort of blur or transparency, anything like that, any gradients, they tend to work better just within the program themselves, as opposed to me exporting out a layer that has all of this as the blurs applied. It just, when it comes into Premiere, it doesn't look the same. And so I think that it's better to just add it myself. So let's bring it down more. So I exported this shape as it was from Photoshop, and there's no blur on it. And I thought that this would be a little bit easier for me to control. So I'm going to add it under my color because I need it to be behind this entire shape. And the reason it comes in like this is because Ashleigh and I, while this is the same size as my Photoshop canvas, Ashleigh and I had to move this up for Spotify. So, so I just have to make a couple adjustments, because
that's what happens.
That's what happens. Yes. So I'm going to position it here, and then I think I'm going to scale it back just a little bit because Gaussian blur is pretty powerful. And I don't want it to be anything too crazy. So I want the reflection to be kind of right behind it. So I'm going to scale it down to 93 about, and then I'm going to go into my effects. You can use either one, whether it's Legacy or Gaussian blur, it's entirely up to you. We'll just choose this one. And so now that I've added it, it just encompasses it a little bit. I want uniform scale because I don't want it scaling just vertically or horizontally. Okay, so my blur, repeat edge pixels, yes, horizontal and vertical. That way I know it's going to scale. And let's bring the blurriness up a little.
Ooh.
So it's pretty contained, and this is where it's difficult. If you try to exactly match the artwork, it's never really going to, but since it's an animation, I think that that's okay. But it's pretty close.
Umo says, yeah, then you can make it more uniform for the final product.
Exactly. Going back and forth, even though Adobe is fantastic at being able to integrate all of their platforms into each other, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I just prefer to repeat it within the program if I can. Okay, so I have my background, and now I need to get this pulse light flicker. So I'm going to do this by adding a shape. I've seen many tutorials on people adding flicker, and it doesn't ever really do what I want it to do. They just apply the effect on top of this whole piece or even certain layers, and I just don't like it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you a different way to do it. And it's by adding a shape. So if I want this to be glowing from the inside out, that means this outer shell needs to move. Not that one. Needs to move up one. And then this color, because again, I want it sandwiched between to try to eliminate a little bit of the just sitting on top of colors. I want it to be in it. So I'm going to drop it right here, but I'm going to go to my rectangle, and if I just long click, then I can click the ellipse tool. And I'm going to start drawing. Once you start drawing, if you need it to be an actual even circle, you can just click shift and it'll do it for you. Something that is entirely up to you is you can choose to make all of your effects on this piece first and then drag it underneath, or you can drag it underneath and work that way. I prefer to do all of my effects while it's on top of something. That way I can see how each effect actually works and what the portions of each effect really do before I drag it underneath. I just want to get the gist of what effect I'm using and how to use it properly, at least for my purposes. Okay, so once I've done this, I get to pick my color. So let's drop down shape, and then also to get out of this, to move it, just hit the V tool, then you'll be able to move it, scale it, all the things that you want to do with it.
If that's what you want to call a work meeting. We know that it was DJing. Hi, Chris. It's great to see you.
Welcome. Yes, DJing. Absolutely. So let's move this shape out of the way. I want something to be bright. And of course I can adjust this shape later, but I'm going to use my eyedropper tool and try to get something in here that's a little bit brighter. Let's just start with this pink. Sure. And then I also want to add a blur to this because I don't want it to be this harsh shape underneath. So let's add our blur. And then let's drag this up. I'll also resize this a bit because I think it's a little large. Yeah, let's actually do it pretty small. Maybe somewhere in there, I think. Yeah, we'll try it. And then I think that that's a good blur just to start.
Eyedropper tool is useful in the hide and seek game. Ooh.
Ooh. Yes, that's good to know. Thank you. I'm very excited. Okay, so now that we've done this, now we need to add our flicker because if we want it to have a little like poof, poof moment. So Ashleigh and I use Motion Array. We also use Film Impact, which Adobe acquired, but Motion Array has a lot of really great effects as well. And this is one of the better flickers I've seen that isn't so egregious on the eyes. Like some of them are just crazy, but I really like this one. So let's bring our flicker on top. And then it has different presets and things, but I think it's always good to just play it out and see what it does. So this one's a little aggressive. I think we don't want the inside to be crazy, but also for anybody who is sensitive to flashing lights, you don't want a reoccurring piece of artwork in Spotify to just be making crazy lights at somebody. We don't want that.
Because the visualizer that you create is between 5 to 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And so if someone is listening to that song or has it up on their television, this is what is going to play and they will turn it off.
I would also turn it off. So the way to affect this is we're going to take the frequency down. The frequency is just how often it is pulsating. So let's just take it down to 1, or we'll take it to 2 so you can see. It's much slower, which is good, but I think we can go a little bit faster. 3. Yeah, it gives a little bit, but it's not insane. The amplitude is basically going to be referring to how strong the effect gets. So because this thing pulses as it goes, you can see it's getting brighter in the center. So if I were to bring the amplitude all the way up to 5, it's going to turn white.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a lot.
We don't want that. So we're going to keep it at about 1. Let's keep it at 1 where it was. And then the randomness here is going to be if it's going to be a consistent pulse or if it's going to be choosing how infrequent it actually pulses. I'm going to keep it at 1 because this one kind of mimics, not that one. It mimics candlelight a bit, which I like. It still is quite bright. One moment. No, we'll keep that at 1 as well.
It's so wild because Court and I are working on different aspects of different projects at all times. So she delivered it and I was like, this is dope. But it's really cool to see the behind the scenes process.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot.
I think that this is a good start. So we'll start here and then we'll drop it in and show you what it looks like. But the red, green, and blue. So the reason these are here is because if you're mixing colored light, when you mix red, green, and blue together, you get white. And that is only if you're mixing colored light. So this is referring to how much red, green, and blue is in this mix. I like it as it is, but of course you can add more blue if you want.
Chris says, just channel Rihanna, Coat. Shine bright like a diamond.
Oh my gosh, Chris. Yeah, so this is, no, we don't want that. We want to keep it as she was and keep the balance of the red and blue, which now it's being silly. There. Okay, so once we have that and our flicker is decided, which again, I'm not going to mess with the red, green, and blue because I just don't need to. I really like the color that we selected and how it works. Let's drop it in and see how it looks and see if we need to make any adjustments for size or anything like that. So this is where I said I was going to drop the opacity to see how that effect actually looked, because right now it isn't going to do much of anything. So let's bring our shape up. Bum, 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 bum.
Ooh, shiny.
So it's a little bit, but so what I can do is drop this, the opacity of this color level, just to give it a little bit more in the back. But what I think could be better is instead of playing with the opacity, I'm going to change the blend level. So what I like to do also is once you've decided on your effect and you've looked at it for a little bit and you like it, change it. Like this is, let's leave it at normal so we can see. So this is what it was before, which right now it's not doing anything. I'd have to drop the opacity level to be able to see it. So instead, mess around with your overlay or any of your blend modes. So multiply is always really fun. And this is where things get really interesting because then the color of your shape will actually change depending on how it interacts with things. So multiply, which is a choice, but again, the pulse that I have underneath is really dark. So I'd have to significantly brighten it. Let's do that. Let's do overlay. So that really gives it some color. And so now that I have that, and this is a little bit more red than what I had before, let's go in and change the color of our shape. Like maybe it's, because I wanted to read a little bit more like warm candlelight. So I'm going to bring it more towards the white instead of that original color that we selected with the eyedropper. And then essentially I'll just pretty much tweak it until I find the exact brightness and all of the specific settings that I like to make this. Let's see, that was a little bright. And then I'll have to fix the frequency as well. Maybe a 3. And then take the randomness. I'll take that down a little.
And remember, this is specifically for Spotify, which is going to be playing on a 5 to 8 second loop.
And so then if it's still a little too strong, I can drag the opacity of that whole shape down where it just gives it a little bit less. And that's essentially it. That's the start of this. So I have 2 different versions of this thing going back here, which Ashleigh and I will get to decide which one we like better. Whether it's this one. And these are just different colored looks. I don't know if you guys can even see the color difference on your screen, but woof, it is different on mine. Do you see it?
Yeah, it is massively different. And then this goes into what we were talking about with color, because we have our screens formatted, and then what does it look like on someone's phone when they're looking at this in the middle of the night or like in really bright daylight? Are they going to be able to notice the nuances of color?
That's right. So it really, having your project settings, having your sequence settings set properly is really important to make sure that everything matches. So I'm going to play around with this and get Ashleigh's thoughts. Like maybe we want to make the center of this pulse a little bit larger, so it covers more of these side areas. But the tweaking is all in the fun once you have the idea and get the groundwork. Now, my number one thing at the end of this, oh, nice. I ended in great time. Okay. Is make sure you render this out, because if you do not render it out, that means that, especially if you have something like a Gaussian blur, gradient, anything like that, if you do not render it and you just export it, sometimes this blur will get over exaggerated because it doesn't really know what it's supposed to be exporting. So it's just going to guess. And I found in a couple times of exporting it both with rendering and without it, that this will get exponentially larger. I'm like, why does this keep, like, I think the blur ended up out here, which just made it look like a weird ball. I don't know. So yeah, make sure you always render it out as well. And yeah, that's it.
That's the visualizer.
That is the visualizer for Spotify. Keep it simple, but effective.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
I love seeing your journey from the beginning ones to this, because I know that it changed the way that you designed as well.
Yeah, and we talked about having before, like having a pulse from the inside. So knowing that it made how I drew it better and all of it. So I think trying to have the animation process on the front end helps the drawing.
Yeah, so going through the workflow
A little bit.
a couple times, you can see how to make it better for yourself in future projects.
Yes.
Which you did.
It does require a lot of future planning, but that's why layers are so important in the first place, so you can easily separate things.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know. Thanks for putting so much heart into it, Coat.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heart.
There's so much
I love
heart.
this song. I love it. I love it all.
So we will be back next Wednesday, which is my brother's birthday, at 11 a.m. Pacific. And we are going to be talking a little bit about clarity. I think by then we will be working on our lyric video, because the song officially comes out on Friday. So be doing some work on the visualizers and what some of the design prep has looked like and been like for getting this release ready, because it's been a lot. And new photo shoot, very, very exciting. I mean, Jude, you could go into all of the details of the prep work for the vinyl, because that was wild. Please make sure
maybe we'll do that.
You hit the like button below so that you let YouTube and Adobe know that you're watching, that you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much, Idara, for posting those links.
Yes.
Please make sure that you jump in. Oh, the week 3 challenge is tell us who inspires you.
Yep.
Or what inspires you. Open to all things.
You inspire me.
You inspire me. I had a collage of you and I deleted it because I was like, she's gonna see it. I'll just give it to you in private. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Ashleigh. This is Courtney. Please make sure that you keep tuning in. You let Adobe know that you're enjoying the show. Let us know what you would like to see. And if you have time tonight, we'll be live on Twitch at 6 p.m. Pacific. And we would love, love, love to see you. We're going to be playing some music. We're going to be talking about Spicy Monster, our latest short film. We're going to be talking about Clarity, our new release. Excuse me, lol.
Oh my goodness.
No, you. Love you dearly, Thirsh. Thank you so much for being here.
You inspire us too.
Fedor, Umo, Young, JC, Umo, Arco. Thank you all so much for stopping in and hanging out with us. Again, I'm Ashleigh. This is Courtney. We are CA in LA. And thank you for being with us on this really amazing journey of the Cinema Collective. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great day.
Bye.
I love your bracelet noise. Like, slay.
Thank you.
Slay.